everyone, it's Mary. Welcome back to my channel where we talk about all things related to the storytelling industry. As you can tell, it is late at night and I'm using my earpiece, so I look like a telemarketer or something. I don't even know. But it is late at night on day one of NaNoWriMo. It has been a crazy day and I decided to sit down and just do a quick vlog type video with you guys, letting you guys know how the first day of NaNoWriMo went for me. So first and foremost, I will say a little bit about channel updates and then kind of go into the NaNoWriMo project. So I had all these really grand ideas for NaNoWriMo this year. I was going to host live writing sprints 2 or 3 times a week. I was going to post regular video content plus NaNoWriMo vlogs. I had all this stuff planned, but things have gotten really crazy in my personal life, not only just like personal life in general, but with work and with health and everything else. So I don't think that I'm going to be able to have that kind of content coming out of my channel this month, unfortunately. So instead, my focus is going to be on weekly vlogs. Today is just going to be on the first day of NaNoWriMo and give you guys an update on what I'm working on. But then starting next week, every Wednesday, you will have just a normal NaNoWriMo vlog where throughout the week, I just do short snippets of how things are progressing. And then I will post it for you guys weekly so you can see kind of what I'm working on. If you happen to be hosting writing sprints, writing lives, any kind of thing like that, please share it in the comments section below because I would love to come join you. It's just that I don't have the emotional bandwidth this month to host myself. That's why I haven't been doing writing sprints online, and that's also why my videos have been delayed. It's been a couple weeks since I posted. Alright, so on to NaNoWriMo. So I did an entire video with you guys talking about my idea of doing a Taylor Swift inspired novel. I opened a playlist up. I really went for it. I had inspiration on Pinterest. I had all these things planned for the Taylor Swift novel and I got it completely plotted and was so excited about the novel. But in the 2 weeks since I posted that original video and today, I came across some really interesting information and I also had some realizations about my own writing and the idea that I really want to focus on creating a career for myself in writing. And one of the ways that I want to do that is by creating a backlist. Right now, the only 2 books I have released under my pen name, Emmy Laverne, are 2 old books that were already out and I packaged and edited and rewrote and repackaged and sent them out under the new pen name. And then I have 1 book under my real name that is through the publisher and that's it. So I don't have much of a backlist, especially not for this new pen name that I recently launched a couple of years ago and that I really want to be the main focus of my writing. So one of the things I stumbled across, a couple of things, was first of all this thing called subscriptions for writers, which was an interesting, I'll share a link for them hopefully with you guys. If I don't have it in when I first post this, I'll add it later. I'll share it on social media, one of the 2. But it is this idea of kind of like a Patreon, but with writers. And instead of just posting your novels on Wattpad or Kindle Vella or whatever, the whole idea is to first post them to your Patreon or Ream, which is a book version of Patreon, and having people pay for early access to your content or bonus scenes of your content. And then eventually after the, subscribers have received it, then you release it to the public through Vella, Wattpad, a book, whatever it is that you're doing. It's interesting. I'm not explaining it well. Definitely check out Subscriptions for Authors. They have a YouTube channel, they have a Facebook group, and they have a podcast. So that's how I came across it. Part 2 of that is I had this realization as I was working on plotting and just writing in general. I like short stories. I like short stories. When I sit down to write a book, most of the books I have ever written, and I have a lot of books I've written that I've just never published because they're not very good, I don't think. But anyway, I tend to write short stories or novella length books. Even The Wild Side was novella length. And if you look at the book my sister and I released through the publisher, that book was about 40,000 words when you add it all together, which, I think technically kind of falls into that novella category. I'm just used to writing shorter books. It's not that I can't write a longer book. I prefer a shorter book. And then also, I stumbled across Kindle short reads in the last year or so. And one of the reasons I stumbled across that is because my life and my schedule is so chaotic. I don't have time to read, and that's one of the reasons why I left BookTube. I was solely a BookTube channel prior to this. I left BookTube and started doing mostly AuthorTube with a sprinkle of BookTube content in it. And the reason why I did that was because I don't have time to read. So whereas I used to read, 15 to 20 books in a month, I was reading like 3 or 4 because it takes me weeks to get through a book that I used to be able to get through in a day. And that's just because of the chaoticness of life right now. But I stumbled across Kindle short reads because I was really looking for a book that, like, okay, I have a day off. I have a Sunday afternoon. I'm home from church and I don't have anything to do except for laundry. I just want a book that's short enough that I can finish it that day. And my friend was telling me about Kindle short reads. You can actually go in there, you can pick how long you want to read and what category you're looking for. So they have like 30-minute, 1 hour, 45-minute, 90-minute, 2 hours, and like 2 hours plus or whatever. And you can just be like, okay, I have an hour, so I want a 1 hour romance novel. And you can pick it, and there you go. And there was also in one of the writing groups I'm in, someone posted a chart about, like, if you want to write a Kindle short read, what is the word count that you need. And the 1 hour Kindle short reads is about 8,000 to 10,000 words. So I had a light bulb go off in my head, and I was like, rather than sit and work on the Taylor Swift novel that is likely going to be at least 50,000 words, if not more, in order for me to get the entire backstory of this couple, because I'm talking about a couple that, like, falls in love in high school, goes through high school, has this mad breakup, go through their 20s without each other, and then end up back together at the end. That's not something you can get through in a short story. That's going to have to be a full-length novel. There's no way I could tell their story and give it justice in a short story. So I was like, why don't I save that for later? And kind of a two-parter goal is, number one, write a short story that I know I will enjoy and will be less stressful. But number two, allow myself to create a backlist for my pen name so that I can be rapid releasing short stories while finishing the Taylor Swift novel or whatever novel I'm working on, and then have a full-length novel to release next year. So here is my NaNoWriMo plan. That was a lot of information, but all of that to tell you this. I'm not writing Taylor Swift novel. Instead, I'm writing 5 short stories for the 1 hour Kindle short read category. So 10,000 words times 5 stories, 50,000 words. I went ahead and I plotted them out. It is a 5-book short story series about the town of Willowbrook. I don't know what state it's in yet. It's called Willowbrook because I wanted to come up with a Hallmark-ish sounding name. And that's essentially what I'm going for in this series. I'm going for, like, Hallmark movie. Literally. My first book is the town mayor falls in love with the person who owns the floral shop. The second book is the floral shop owner's best friend, who's the librarian. That's what I'm going for. So I'm going for a 5-book short story series that is townspeople of Willowbrook falling in love. I want it to be picturesque, small town, Hallmark movie / Gilmore Girls type thing is what I'm going for. So I went ahead and plotted out the very first book and the second book. I still have to work on 3, 4, and 5, but I have the first 2 plotted. And I sat down today to get started on the very first book. I got like 1,200 words written super quick. Like, it just flew out of me. So my official word count for today is 1266. And here's the thing. It was a crazy day at work today. I had no time to write. None. There was no time to write. I knew that me sitting down at a computer and typing was not going to happen today. I just didn't have time. But on my writing group on Facebook, someone was talking about they write using speech to text on a Google document. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do that while I cook dinner. So there I am at the stove cooking dinner and feeding the dog with an open Google Doc, talking my story into Google Docs. And then when I got done, I just sat down with my phone and I edited what I spoke. And it was 1266 words. It took me no time at all. And I was really inspired and surprised by this. Number one, because one of the biggest issues I've had with NaNoWriMo is finding the time to write. I don't always have time to write every day. But doing speech to text or writing through Google Docs in general is life-changing. I don't mean to be TMIing here, but like, you could be in the waiting room at the doctor's office. You could be on the toilet. Like, instead of scrolling TikTok while you poop, because we all do it. Let's just be real. We all do it, right? Instead of scrolling TikTok while you dump a load, you can speech to text your novel and get like a couple hundred words written while you're pooing. I mean, seriously. I wrote 1,200 words cooking dinner. Like, and then the one person on my group was like, I put a headphone in, like an ear, like this kind of thing, but not. They basically put some kind of headphone set in, and they do speech to text on their commute to work. So they write their books to and from work during the commute using speech to text. I was like, it just opened so many doors. I was like, I can do this. Not only that, but like this, not only will this help me get NaNoWriMo, but I'm like, if this actually works and this becomes a good solid way of me at least getting the like rough draft down, how life-changing would that be? Now, it's a bit of a learning curve, I will admit that. And it does require you to do some editing on the back end, because sometimes, you said, for me, I called one of the old church ladies a harpy, like the bird, like a harpy, and it put herpes. I'm like, that's not what I was going for. I was not going for STD old lady. I was going for mean old lady. But regardless, it really just was shocking to me how much I got written that way. So I think I may utilize that for a lot of NaNoWriMo this year when I'm so busy that I don't have time to like think. So anyway, that's where I'm at day one. The first of my 5-book series of short small town romances. And I'm at 1266 official word count. Now, if you remember from my original NaNoWriMo video, my goal was to have like 1,900 words a day. I'm just being real. I don't know that I'm ever going to hit that, especially not with a day like today, but you never know. The speech to text thing is super quick. I may be able to catch up on the weekend. Don't know. But regardless, I'm excited. I'm so excited. And I think this is going to be good. So here's my goal, right? My goal is that by the end of NaNoWriMo, I have 5 short stories, small town romance that I can then edit and work on creating covers for and promoting. And then early 2024, I'm talking like February, March, I want to start like rapid releasing these. So like one comes out February, one comes out March, one comes out, April, just kind of rapid release these 5 books. And while those are rapid releasing, I can write my Taylor Swift novel, or I can finish my mafia romance, or whatever project I want to work on, so that by the time those are done rapid releasing, when we hit like summer, because they should all be out by summer, then I'll have a full-length novel ready to go. And then I will have a whole backlist of books, and I'll be like officially a backlist, more than just, 2 old books to read kind of author. That's exciting. So anyways, that's the plan. What are you working on for NaNoWriMo? If you're like me, I have so many ideas, I don't even know what to do with them all. So I would love to hear, are you still writing what you thought you were going to be writing for NaNoWriMo? Are you doing something kind of rebellish? Are you doing something different? Tell me about what you're working on. I'd love to hear about it. And I will see you guys next week in my vlog. Happy writing! Happy NaNoWriMo! Yay!